Hello, and welcome to the third and final video of my Community of Practice recording. Now that I have been able to summarize the context of my OIP, this video will focus on my own personal learning journey. In particular, this video will address the value added, who I am as a scholar practitioner now and then, my challenges in powerful learning, my growth as a leader and as a learner, as well as the outcomes of my OIP and this learning journey. In creating my slides for this presentation and determining what information I would share, what I would include in the 10-page summary, and of course what I would include in the larger OIP document, it was really nice to have the opportunity to be reflective at this point. While I definitely feel that I have had plenty of opportunity to share my thinking, my process, my problem of practice, my theories, the researchers that I have been using, pretty much with anyone who will listen, my professors, my peers in the courses over the past 3 years, my family, and my friends, of course, I don't necessarily think that I've had a lot of time to stop and think about my own personal and professional growth through this program. When I think about the past 3 years and where I was when I began this journey, which was living and working as a middle school and high school counselor at an international school in Mexico, then moving home for the summer, getting married, and then coming out to the Middle East to start a brand new 2-year contract and a new adventure as a married woman here at TIS. It's hard to believe that 2-year contract is already up in 3 weeks' time. And it's even harder to believe how much has literally and physically changed during the process of this OIP journey. Although there is so much place and space that is different now than was in the fall of 2015, so much of who I am as a scholar practitioner has stayed the same. It's funny to think about that as I sit here at my office desk in my office and remembering that first assignment, even I believe before we were accepted into the program at Western, or maybe upon acceptance, where Belinda asked everyone to send a picture of their working space, and I sent a picture of me from my desk looking out into my office, which was in a totally different office, in a totally different school, in a totally different country, in a totally different place in the world. And yet so much of who I am has stayed the same. The core of my pedagogy has not changed. This includes my desire to help others, to build a community wherever I go, to do and be good, to bring people together through stories, to be a good listener, and to make students, families, faculty, and friends feel welcome and feel connected to. As a learner, I have also had the opportunity to grow through so much of this program. Some of the notable powerful learnings include learning, naming, and recognizing who I am as a leader and what that really means. This OIP journey has allowed me not only to develop a true understanding for many different leadership approaches, but also to name my own leadership approaches and what that means for me, and to really feel comfortable with who I am as a leader. While servant leader is a pedagogical fit with who I am as a person and as a counselor, believing that it is my duty to serve my school and I try to live out these values in everything that I do, adaptive leadership, on the other hand, was new learning for me throughout the EdD courses, and it was through this that I began to then pursue my own reading and research on adaptive leadership, as it was so closely aligned with what TIS does as a school. TIS uses what is called the Adaptive Schools Protocol and teaches this protocol to new members. Last year, which was my first year at the international school, the entire school faculty participated in a 1-day professional development session on adaptive schools training. In the 2017-18 school year, I was also able to sign up for a free 4-day Adaptive Schools Foundational Seminar Professional Development that was held at TIS and focused on the 7 norms of collaboration and communication. This in itself has made me a better leader at TIS. It has made me more relatable in the language that I use, as TIS is an adaptive schools school. It has made me a better communicator, a better collaborator, a better listener. It has made me a more empathetic counselor through my ability to paraphrase. It has allowed me the opportunity to better understand the difference between discussion and dialogue and how we need to be comfortable with both as a school to make changes. and it has allowed me the opportunity to very naturally link theory and practice together through my OIP with what we're doing as a school and who I am as a leader. Some of the challenges that I've had to work to overcome throughout this OIP process include choosing a problem of practice in one school, one city, one country, and one continent, and then adapting my problem of practice to meet the needs of another school, city, country, and continent as we move from Mexico to the Middle East after being in the EdD program for 1 year. Another challenge that I've had to work to overcome has been in relation to trying to refine my thinking and writing and be as clear and detailed as possible in certain aspects of my OIP without being in a formal leadership position and having access to certain information that a formal leader in a school would be able to draw from. For me, some of this information included the budget for international job fairs and recruiting, the costs associated with re-signing bonuses, fully understanding how to get the board approval for a change, and how I may need to persuade them as an emergent leader, as a new teacher to the organization, as a counselor, in order to do so. While this has been a challenge for me in terms of proving myself as a strong emergent leader within the realm of the EdD program, not knowing this information and having to seek it out from varying stakeholders in the school, including middle school principal, director of human resources, director of professional learning, and the school superintendent, has actually given me the opportunity to speak openly about my problem of practice and about my OIP and about my desire and plan to make a positive change in the school. While finding the data or information that I needed in order to make my OIP strong and detailed was not always easy, it has certainly helped to identify me among the formal leaders as an emergent leader and sort of put me on the map, as well as it has given me the chance to talk through my OIP on numerous occasions with these stakeholders and get other people involved and interested, find passionate stayers in the school who are on board with my change plan, and I've been able to seek out support very early on in this process because I have had to seek out information and talk to people about it. Professional growth. So, what is it that I have learned? Certainly, there are way too many things to share in this video, ranging from the simplest or most insignificant of thing for me being how to finally cite something properly using APA 6th edition, to my larger learning about myself and about others. One thing that this journey has taught me is that there will never be no resistors. No matter how well liked, no matter how foolproof you feel the plan might be, there will always be those who resist, those who feel comfortable, and those who fear change. One thing that I've learned through this process is that I don't always need to have an immediate answer for when someone does resist. And in fact, rhyming off a statistic or a piece of literature or even a best practice is not going to get them to buy in and probably will make them resist even more. The professional growth in this area for me is actually the belief that the resistors are good, and being able to openly discuss these reasons for resisting or their issues through dialogue and cognitive conflict are the only real ways to move past these feelings and come to a decision together. For me, that's the realization that this can only occur when a faculty trusts its members enough to share these types of concerns openly and constructively, and that my role, not only as a facilitator, is also to provide the place and space for these dialogues to happen. Another area of learning and growth for me, connecting to what I mentioned earlier in this video about proving myself as an emergent leader and not having the positional authority of a formal leader to make change, I have come to fully understand the power that I do hold as a positive role model in the school, using what I say and what I do and how I act to foster the type of relationships that I have with faculty and with families and with leaders, being known as a trustworthy and caring individual, and using these relationships to build myself a platform for others to join and be intrinsically motivated and to use their strengths and passions to help others. By doing this, I feel that I am able to give teachers agency and responsibility within the school and also call to their own strengths and experiences, as we have all been the new teachers at the school at one time or another. We all know what it feels like to be new, and we can use our own stories and shared experiences to build a support program for new international teachers at TIS together. While this OIP has not been implemented in its entirety, I am happy to share some of the outcomes from my OIP as well as some of my work within different committees and innovation teams throughout the school year. One of the things that is most important to me throughout this entire process is how I know that my problem of practice is something that I truly do care about. As a student in school, I remember thinking how interesting it was when something I was learning in English class related to a book that I was reading in history class, or how something I would see on TV had a personal connection to something I learned about in school. For me, this has been the connection between my personal pedagogy as a counselor and as a person, my desire to help students, families, and faculty members through transitions, as well as the purpose for my OIP. It is such a good feeling when everything I value is aligned and has come together. If any of my viewers have questions about these outcomes that I've listed here, I would be happy to discuss them further in the forums. But some of the outcomes I will note here include working with the Engagement Committee and Director of Human Resources to develop a buddy program that will begin in the 2018-19 school year. Continued discussion about the implementation of a mentorship program for the 2019-2020 school year. Having the personal opportunity to present at the International School Counselors Association in March of 2018 about how TIS supports its arrivers, stayers, and leavers, both for students and for faculty members. And the implementation of what we're calling wellness and happiness activities for teachers, which will also begin in August of 2018. While my desire to focus my problem of practice on how to create the type of positive organizational culture where international teachers can thrive truly does stem from my devotion to build and sustain culture, care, and continuity as a school, admittedly, as a scholar practitioner who has chosen a career teaching abroad, I also want to work and live in communities that care. With this in mind, I will continue to apply my knowledge and skills to support students, families, and faculty around the world. As I remain an active member of the Engagement Committee and the Culture and Climate Innovation Team, I will continue to dialogue with faculty members, listen to individual thoughts, concerns, and ideas, and work to institutionalize this program as part of the way we do things at TIS. I want to thank everyone very much for taking the time to listen to all 3 of my videos, as well as reading my 10-page summary. I encourage and look forward to reading your critical friend questions, and I hopefully look forward to seeing you very soon in October for graduation. Thank you all very much.